good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Driven Women TV. Driven Women TV was created to further the mission and the vision of Cape Cod's Conference for Women, which is to bring women together under one roof and share useful and relevant information that would inspire them to be the change in their own businesses, their families, and their communities. And today we're going to continue the conversation. I have here today with me Beth Soboleff and Ginny Just of Two Grannies on the Road. I'm just so excited to have you here and be with you today. I met you, Beth, some time ago in another network situation in BNI.
Yes.
And I know you as a director of BNI chapters and in that kind of capacity, but I came to know you better in the planning of Cape Cod's Conference for Women. And I'd like the audience to know that on the morning of the conference, I woke up in the beautiful Seacrest Beach Hotel, and I looked out the window around 3 a.m. and the ground was clear. There was big raindrops coming down. And I laid back down, and I was awakened again around 6 a.m. to look outside to see big snowflakes coming down. And I didn't have panic, but I was concerned. So I went to Facebook, and I looked on Facebook, and there was your picture, the two of you, holding up one of the Driven cards. And it said, two grannies are on their way. And that inspired me to just get dressed and keep going on and getting dressed. And I was just so glad. And then I saw other moms saying, we're on our way. And despite all the schools across Cape Cod being closed, they were just saying, we're on our way, we're on our way. So I thank you for inspiring me to just keep going. Do you want to introduce yourselves? I know you have a cute little jingle that you've made up, and I'd love for you to let our audience hear that.
Okay.
Well, I'm Ginny Just.
And I'm Beth Soboleff, and we're
Two Grannies on the Road. I'm the older, funner, more adventurous granny.
Well, I'm the younger, level-headed, practical granny. Well, at least I remember what I had for breakfast.
I don't.
That's our introduction.
That is so cute. Beth, I know that you are by profession a web designer. You have Birchwood Enterprises web design, and you've been doing that for many years, for 13 years,
13
correct?
13 years in business. Yep,
Yeah.
I've been a web designer for 15 years.
Awesome. And Jenny, you are a graphic designer with your own business, Just Enterprises?
Just Associates.
Just Associates, yes. And you do graphic design. So what a pair, you know, you're able to continue what you do and also transition into what you're doing now, which is exciting. First, I just want to take a minute to pause and say that I'm dedicating this show to my late aunt Mildred Haley. Mildred Haley was a pioneer in the area of affordable housing. She ran the Bromley Heath housing development in Jamaica Plain, and she died at 82, like I said. She was a leader who achieved national stature, and she's in the Boston Globe today, and I'm proud to say that I'm her niece. My aunt was, like you ladies, she worked well into her retirement and then beyond her retirement. She is known for changing a community, for getting the tenants to take ownership of the housing development and make real change, creating things like anti-poverty programs and drug rehab programs, youth programs, and also opening a health center right there in the development. Yes, so she was really innovative, and other housing authorities across the nation took note of what she did and emulated it, and it had even international reach. She was a trusted advisor to people like Jack Kent in Washington with the housing and urban development, and also all the local leaders. So we're celebrating her, in my family, and to me, my Aunt Mildred Haley was the personification of the driven women. And that's, she's just one of the women in my family that I learned what service is really about, and what just doing things beyond your years or your age or your educational abilities are, that women can be inspired, and they can do whatever it is they want to do. They can change the course of a nation. Yeah, so I just applaud my aunt today, and that just leads me to what you women are doing, which I think is fascinating, and I want those at home to hear about what you're doing. I believe what your premise is to reach baby boomers. Do you want to tell me exactly how Two Grannies on the Road came to be, Beth, and where you see it going?
Well, it started out really it started about 5 years ago, and I was actually kind of having a pity party for myself, because here I am, a business owner, working all the time. I can't afford to take the time off to travel, don't have the resources to travel, and I had always wanted to travel across the country, put my kids in an RV for 2 or 3 months and see our beautiful country. And it never happened, and I'm like, how can I make it happen now? I haven't even taken a vacation in years. And then I said, well, wait a second. I have a virtual business. I can do it from anywhere. I can actually do it from the road. And so maybe I can combine the two, work and play, be working on the road and still see the country. And then I thought, well, I wouldn't want to do it alone. That wouldn't be fun. I wasn't, seeing anyone at the time. And then I thought, well, who could I coerce into doing this with me? And then I thought of Jenny, because she also has a virtual business, being a graphic designer. And I said, that would be great. And then the name came to me, Two Grannies on the Road. So, of course, then I went to her and told her about the idea, and she said, I'm in.
Right.
So that's how it really started.
Awesome. I know a little bit about dreaming. Cape Cod's Conference for Women was a dream. And to know that you can't do it alone, and you asked for help. And I asked many women, I put out a call to action and said, join me in this venture. And I know what it takes, the collaboration and the inspiration. And when women get together, you can form more ideas, and you're growing. You now have a television show, and you do all kinds of creative and wonderful things. So Jenny, do you want to tell me what you said and when she called you with this
She actually
idea?
didn't call me. She came down to my house, sat across from me in the living room, and explained this. And I don't know what was in my face at the time, but she talked me into it.
Right.
And
it wasn't very hard to do.
No, it wasn't. My arm still hurt. No. She it just sounded like the type of thing that I needed to reinvent myself as well.
Sure. At the conference this year, we're going to have one of our speakers is going to speak about transitional living. And she's going to really talk to the woman who is on that journey in business and in professional development, and let them know that it's not over, right? Women have so much more in them. I was contacted by so many women after the conference who said, I didn't know that I could come. I didn't know. I'm retired now, and I didn't, I had my career, and I didn't know what would there be for me. I have women who are now saying, I'm going to buy a table with all my friends, because we have value long after we're done with our careers. So do you want to talk about that, Beth?
Well, over the years, from 5 years ago when we first had the idea, it really has evolved. And what we've seen is that a lot of baby boomers are starting to feel irrelevant. They're being laid off of jobs that they've had for 40 years and being replaced by people who are younger and cost the company less money. But they're not ready to retire, or maybe they can't afford to retire, or they have a lot more in them, like you said, and they want to do something more. And sometimes they're just leaving the jobs that they've had for 40 years because their kids are all grown, on their own, college is paid for, and they're like, okay, now I want to do what I want to do. And they're asking themselves questions like, what is it that I would do if I knew I couldn't fail?
Sure.
And or they've had a dream their whole lives that they've never been able to do. It's like, I wanted to do something besides being an executive assistant, and I changed careers after the age of 50. a lot of people are doing that because they see that they have more to offer the world. And baby boomers have a lot to offer the world. Millennials can learn a lot from baby boomers, and baby boomers can learn a lot from millennials. So actually going to the conference last year was great because it gave us some ideas, it gave us some more momentum, and we connected with more people. And it was a really great conference, and there was something for everyone. And we left very inspired.
Awesome. Yes. And we hope to do it again this year. We will do it again this year on March 10th, 2016, again at the beautiful Seacrest Beach Hotel. And we'd be delighted to have you women and maybe one day even speak at the conference about your journey, because you're on a journey and you've done so much. I see, Ginny, that you have a blog that you wrote, and I was reading one of your blogs, and it was so interesting to me how you said that on the phone you can get the interview for the job that you're trying to do with your graphic design, and then when they meet with you they see gray hair, and you had a solution for that. Can you talk to the audience about that?
Well, it is. You know, it's very subtle. They don't go, oh no, she has gray hair. It's the facial expression changes just subtly, and being able to talk to them intelligently about all of the knowledge that I've gained I've been in the business for 40 years, and 27 of those are with my own business. And once they realize that I actually know what I'm talking about, in fact, I taught for 25 of those 40 years at New England School of Art and Design and at Cape Cod Community College. So it's encouraging to see their facial expression change yet again when I can actually tell them that I can help them to solve a problem, which is what a graphic designer does.
And the wisdom that baby boomers have, you can't buy wisdom, right? You can't teach it in school. It's a life learning. You know, I think of my Aunt Mildred Haley and how her approach to things was non-judgmental. So she saw people as if, right? She saw the possibilities in people, regardless of race or economic or educational backgrounds, even people with addiction problems. What she saw was that they need some help, you know, and sometimes what you have to offer people is the help. So you outline, what can I give you to help you, and not, you know, looking at basically your credentials, but you can show them through your work and your history of what you have done. It's solutions and problem solving is what you have to offer them. So it's great. I just applaud you guys, and we have some clips here today of some of your ventures. You had an event at the Heritage Museum and Garden, some zip lining.
Yes,
right?
we
so
did.
Two baby boomers zip lining, and I know you used it as a fundraising platform, correct? To be able to give money to someone, or
well, not that particular event, but we, in general, we do want to give back to the community. That's part of what we want to do, and so we will pick a couple of charities that we're really interested in. I know one of the ones, I'm on the board of the National Marine Life Center.
And there you go. Look at you. Is that you, Jenny?
That's Jenny.
You're on the zip line, and you're going, and you're just showing there's so much more in you. You're strong. You're still fit. You're able. And that's incredible. I don't know if
I'm also short.
You're short, yeah. So you're trying to get up there. But that's amazing. And you guys have your blog, and you talk about your adventures, and you write about them, and you inspire women. That inspires me. I may try that. I don't know. One day, maybe. That's
it was really fun.
That looks fun.
But the whole idea is, I mean, it's to have fun and adventures. That's half of the mission. But it's also to inspire other people to just think outside of the box, step outside their comfort zone, and just do it.
Exactly. Just like Cape Cod's Conference for Women, I literally was talking with a friend, and I had a dream, and in 5 months really put my foot to the metal, worked really hard, made some really important phone calls to some important people to make those connections for me. But just knowing it's a calling. It's something that I have a desire to do something bigger than myself, but also to to help other people, to do service here in my community and align other women's. And it's just a great journey meeting women like you. And I would have never known, you know, of all these wonderful things that are happening. And so talk to me about your television show that you have coming up and what you hope to accomplish with that.
Well, we just got trained at East Bridgewater Community Television. We've gotten trained on the studio and the equipment and all of that, and we'll get some editing training. And we're going to interview baby boomer business owners, including you'll be one of the interviews. And it'll be a combination of an interview and then showing them at their work or what they do and talking about their stories, how they've transitioned over the years. And we'd like to interview people that have really great stories to tell, have you know, new ventures that they've gone on, or maybe they have an unusual product or service that they sell in their business. And there's a lot of very interesting baby boomers out there. So we think it'll be inspirational for other people who maybe feel like they haven't done a lot, but they really have.
Sure.
You know, and also to, you know, have people say, I want people to say, if they did that, I can do it. You know, if they ziplined, I can do that. You said it, other people have said it to us.
Sure. That's amazing. And I just look forward to watching some of those shows and hearing those stories. I know that you told me that you have a bigger vision in mind. You're going to, Two Grannies on the Road is actually what is the outcome. You want to be on the road and travel across America and interview baby boomers along the way. But what I thought was interesting is that you said, we're not waiting. Why we're right here. That's why the TV show. That's why you're starting it right here using that vehicle as you raise money and buy your RV and get ready, and you're looking for sponsors, right, to sponsor your venture. I can really see this being really big, like on one of the cable television shows. You know what I mean? Like, here we are, Two Grannies on the Road, and we're here with
thinking Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen. I hope Ellen's watching. You know, I remember driving down the road. I was with my husband, and we were in Provincetown, and you called me, and you said, "Marie, are you a baby boomer?" And I was like, "Honey, am I a baby boomer?" You know, I was like, "What is the age?" And I really didn't have an idea of the age group. So I'm sure there are many of us out there who don't want to admit, or we don't know that we're in the baby boomer age. So Jenny, tell me what that age group is.
Well,
actually.
I'm at the highest end. I'm 69 years old, so those of us who were born in 1946. And it goes down to the age of 51, those who were born in 64. Yes. My daughter just misses it. Thank heaven. She was born in 65. So,
No, it is quite an honor, actually, to be a baby boomer. To be in this stage in my life. I've earned every single gray hair, every stripe, every, you know,
every wrinkle,
every bit of stress that I deserve. You know, sometimes I say to myself, man, I just wish I could just like stay home and be, you know, drink tea or something and just kind of, you know, there are days because I work hard. I get up early in the morning and I come home late at night, and I'm really living at this point in my life my passions and my dreams more than, you know, I never was a money chaser anyhow. It's just not in me. I love to do what I like to do. You know what I mean? I have to really love it and feel it. It has to be something passionate. I think since I've been in town, I went to culinary school to become a chef, and since I've been in town, I've worked in positions that were family friendly. I've worked for the YMCA, I've worked for Cape Cod Child Development, Head Start, nursing homes, and things like that, because the value system there, the families, the connection, you know. So that's what really drives me, and I think it will until the day I die, you know.
Well, you're lucky because you recognize that early on. And there's a lot of people our age who have, you know, spent 30, 40 years in the working world, not even really happy with what they do, but they felt like they had to do it. They had a family to support. It was something they needed to do. And now they're starting to fulfill their dreams. And you've been doing that for a long time, so you're ahead of the game.
Kudos.
Just a little bit, yeah. I think it's, you recognize, and with help, you know, I had some coaching to get to. They asked me, you know, what is your vision statement, you know, and mine was from years ago, to inspire using the written, spoken, and poetic word. Can you imagine? And then I you know, have this television venue. I write poetry. I love to write. I blog. People think that I do a lot of, you know, picture taking and selfie and capturing moments and using Facebook as a tool. But it's almost it's like I can't not do it. That's the way I communicate. I love to write. I love to tell stories, and I love to use pictures. You know, it doesn't come from a vanity standpoint. It comes from an expressive standpoint, and much like what you're doing, you're creative. Tell me about your logo. I see on your shirt. How was that created?
Well, I did it. But one of the things that I worked with a whole bunch of different ideas. I worked with looking through a rearview mirror. That didn't work very well. So a couple of other ones, but I finally realized we want to be traveling across the country from the eastern seaboard to the western seaboard. And we're going to be passing through mountains and hills and valleys and farm country and big cities and small towns and so forth. So it just kind of reflects all of that, but the road being the main thing.
That's so amazing, and it sounds like so much fun, you know?
I think it will be fun.
Yeah, you're going to see the country, meet interesting people.
That's the most important part to me, is meeting interesting people. Yeah.
And you know what happens when you know, I get proposals all the time from people across the country wanting to speak at Cape Cod's Conference for Women. So I'm reading resumes and workshop ideas of people that I haven't met, and on the phone with people, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, people like yourselves and people that are right here in our community. Some of my guests that have been on the show. It's right. I have a tag that I say, we have Cape Cod. We have everything we need right here. There are some really interesting people here who do some amazing things. And I think when you begin to open yourself up and actually have eyes to see that, it's there.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for knowing that you really, while you're building your platform, while you're raising your funds to get your things, you're using what you have right here. And I'm sure you're going to have more than enough content, you know?
I think so too. And part of what we want to do too is kind of workshops or seminars across the country.
Sure.
And we've done a couple locally, even just simple things like doing a SWOT assessment, which a lot of business owners have never even done. And, you know, SWOT, strengths and weaknesses, and
opportunities, threats.
And threats, yeah. Well, we did a strengths and weaknesses one. And so, you know, everyone is good at something, but it takes a lot of different skills to run a business. So you have to surround yourself with people who have skills that you don't have. You've done that with the conference. And so we encourage people to look at that. What are your skills? What are the weaknesses that you need to supplement? And then how are you going to do that? Are you going to hire people? Are you going to have an advisory board? Are you going to hire freelancers to fulfill these various functions that you need to have to be successful in business, but you don't have those yourself? You know, it's like I'm more creative, but I can't do bookkeeping. And I needed to hire a bookkeeper. You need to have cash flow when you run a business. And so when we talk to people about these things, it really gives them some food for thought. And they realize, you know, I don't know anyone who's really successful in what they do that hasn't surrounded themselves with people who are smarter than they are. That's what it's all about. You know, presidents do that, right?
Exactly.
And so I think that's hard for women to realize too. They want to do everything themselves. And they're very capable, but you know what? You need help. And so that's part of what we want to do in our workshops and seminars across the country. And it may be helping people form mastermind groups. And teach. We talk about collaboration. We talk about co-opetition.
You're going to have to explain that one.
Please.
Yes.
I haven't heard that.
Well, co-opetition is a term that I learned a long time ago in studying internet marketing. I didn't create it. But it's about working with people who you normally might think of as your competition.
Oh, I see.
But you still work together so that you can both be successful. And I have a great example with some local businesses that are cleaning companies, professional cleaning companies. So there's 4 companies that I know of, and they are competition, but they collaborate in getting their supplies. They order their supplies together so that they can get a much better price, right? So they take turns ordering, and then they split them up, and it helps all of them. I think that's great.
I've never heard of the term before, but I do model Cape Cod's Conference for Women after that. The Cape Cod Times wrote an article about us a couple of months ago, and the opening line was, when women run the show, collaboration becomes the new competition. So that's what you're talking about. And when we come together, I always ask the women to bring the best of what you are and what you have to bring to the table. I ask them to work within their strength. So if you're a graphic design artist, bring that. Unless you have a passion for something underlying, then bring that. Bring that to the table. Don't try to fit into a category that you have don't have no business in, because that's where the competition comes, because you're trying to be something you're not. Do what inspires you. And I think what you guys are tapping into is showing value in everyone. You know what I mean? When you align yourself with people, you show them that they have value. You're recognizing their value, right? And saying you have a lot to give. And who better than people who have lived and are seasoned? I call them seasoned.
Yes, we're seasoned.
So who are some of your collaborators? Who are you looking to? I know you did something with AARP. That's one of your collaborators or future collaborators. Who are some of the people that you're looking for? I want you to tell the audience some of the people that you're looking for to align yourself for sponsorship, or where would you like to do workshops or speak to?
Well, as far as the sponsorship goes, we are trying to approach people or companies that have a similar target market, primarily baby boomers. And we're trying to, I'll give you an example other than AARP, even companies like NetLife or
New York Life.
New York Life, I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Other companies that have a target market. Well, there's one of the credit card companies that is
American Express.
American Express. Sure. They have the one that's, there's a specific program that they're running right now that targets baby boomer age people. I can't remember the name of it now because I'm the older granny.
Well, they also
you're really showing who you are.
You said it. But they talk a lot about local businesses, and we're all about local business as well. You know, local business is the backbone of our economy, and a lot of us are facing big competition from the big box stores, and it's very difficult. Liquor stores, local variety stores, they have a hard time. We really advocate working together and buying locally. So if we work together as business owners and support each other, we can be successful. But you know, companies that have baby boomers as a target audience, and also companies that have business owners as a target market. But you know, also millennials love our project. We talk to them all the time. They say, "Oh, you remind me of my grandmother," and they're on board. They want to help us. And you know, we see a lot of millennials coming into business now. I'm sure you've seen it in the networking that you do. And millennials are so used to being electronically connected that they're not connecting with each other on a personal basis. And baby boomers can help them understand that you need that to do business. But also baby boomers can learn a lot from millennials in terms of technology. I still know baby boomer business owners who don't think they need a website. Yes, you do. But millennials can help baby boomers get into the technology. So we're all about making that connection as well. So some of the connections we want to make across the country are with colleges that have programs for women and have entrepreneurship programs, so that we can speak and you know, spread the word that way and help to educate younger people on what it really takes to run a business.
You guys seem to be well on your way, and I'm just so happy to know you, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen and be able to follow you as you go across this country. Again, I'm here today with Beth Soboleff and Ginny Just of Two Grannies on the Road, and they will be heading out to speak with and meet baby boomers across the country. That's their goal, to share their stories and their journeys, just like your own. So I'm just happy to have you here. I hope to see you next year at Cape Cod's Conference for Women. I hope to look up and see you on Facebook saying, Two Grannies are on their way.
If we're not out in California, we'll be there.
And I'm sure there will be many, many women this year for you to be able to connect with and possibly book for your upcoming show. So
That would be
we're
great.
just so happy that you traveled here from East Bridgewater to be with us today, and I look forward to being on your show to share more of my story
Great.
Yes,
with
definitely.
you. And I do hope that you find your collaborators and your sponsors to be able to do all that you plan to do with your new business
Thank you.
as you
Thank you so
transition.
much.
Yeah, I'm so glad again to have you. And again, Cape Cod's Conference for Women will be March 10th, 2016, at the beautiful Seacrest Beach Hotel in North Falmouth. So we're just going to do this as we go off and pretend we're